This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Feed me, meow, meow, meow.
Because of this podcast, I'm a gay icon.
I'm so hot. I'm so good looking. My salad dressing is amazing.
Like the internet at large, there are things you can do on the internet besides porn, but most of it's porn.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Well, where do I begin?
I'll begin.
Well,
I want to thank you, Les, for this gift of a movie.
Okay, this movie sounded good on paper.
It was so good because it was so bad.
Yes,
I
agree.
Thoroughly enjoyed this terrible movie.
I agree.
I liked the premise of this movie. I thought there were they took some big swings.
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, they did. This,
in so many ways.
I genuinely believe this to be true, and I said this to the guys on our thread, that this is the most profoundly dumb movie we've ever watched.
Yeah, but on paper, it did sound good, though.
And it was!
Yeah.
I mean, if you read the premise on paper, it already is a bonkers premise. You're like, okay, we're off to the races.
Right.
I don't know what I was getting into.
The movie, by the way, is called Trapped in the Spotlight. It was a Lifetime movie.
Yes. Yes. And it did take a lot of swings.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I did like the guy's. So I did like the guy's hair, though. The kidnapper.
Okay.
I liked his hair. So I took pictures of the screen because I'm getting my hair done on Friday, and I'm going to take it in and show my hair guy.
You're like, hey, I want to look like this kidnapper with fancy hearing aids? Is that what that was?
Give me the
and a black turtleneck.
Okay, you have a whole look.
So you want the Steve Jobs look, but with this guy's hair.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hey, by the way, I got some really good sleep this past week because I had to endure that snooze fest known as Wicket.
How dare
you?
How dare
I've been waiting.
Wow.
To say that.
How dare you? How dare you?
Wow.
That's right. Boring as all get out.
It's the only. But you like The Brutalist.
Absolutely, and I like all the Oscar movies except that one.
Baffled.
I can see someone not liking it, but saying it's boring, I'm surprised by.
And then you like The Brutalist.
It didn't have high stakes. It's basically it's a Broadway show stretched out to twice as long, and it's half.
No,
so instead of
it is not stretched out to
we get
twice
like
as long.
1.5.
It's about bigotry and spin.
Isn't the Broadway show like 3 hours long?
Yeah,
something like that.
I've seen the Broadway show.
Okay,
right. And this is half. This is half of it, correct?
Yes.
The Broadway show, the first act of Wicked is much longer than the second act, I recall.
Yeah, and yeah. Okay. So this is before intermission. This goes to intermission.
Right. Well, I mean, Jeff Goldblum played himself. It was like the director was like, just be Jeff Goldblum, to the point where it was irritating. There's one point where there's a song about the Wicked Witch is singing a song about how she might meet the wizard, and there's a song about it.
Yeah. Because
where
she
are the stakes?
Wasn't sure.
Why would you sing a song
well,
about that?
The stakes are deitizing somebody that has no real power. I wonder if there is an analogy to be made about the current state of affairs in our world.
What's the story about the animals? So that was kind of like
the animals were talking. Well,
the plot was kind of about the animals.
No, because the animals were able to talk, and the animals had more power. Like they were able to teach at the school. and they were treated equally. And the wizard felt that in order to keep his people under control, he needed for them to have an enemy.
Yeah.
So then that way
Demonize
he
them.
could control them.
Yeah.
Like someone else I know.
Yeah, but this movie's been in the works for like 100 years, so it's kind of the.
It's almost as if it's a cycle that
coincidence that
keeps
lines up.
repeating throughout history.
Right.
Well, there wasn't enough going on.
How dare you, Kurt Fitzpatrick?
I mean,
How dare you?
visually, it was like if Harry Potter didn't really have much of a story.
And even Kristen Chenoweth was in this movie. How dare you?
And the reason I'm hitting it so hard is because Les has been encouraging our friend Jason Debray on another podcast to make me watch all these Barbra Streisand movies.
Yes,
so when
I
saw
have.
that, I said,
Yes,
all right,
I have.
I'm not holding back on Wicked. And I
For
got
the Simply
exactly
Barbara.
and I got exactly the response that I wanted.
So we're calling it Kurt, we're calling your Barbra Streisand episode the Simply Barbara episode.
Honest question, Kurt. Did you go into this deliberately trying to dislike it just so that you could be combative? No, I'm serious, because I thought that you would actually go into it with low expectations because you weren't going to like it and come out saying, like, actually it was better than I thought. That was what I thought.
Well, it's okay. I did go in with an open mind. I absolutely went in with an open mind. I was ready to enjoy it, just like I've been enjoying the other Oscar movies I've seen, because they're all kind of different kinds of movies. I was definitely open to enjoying it, but I have to admit that I did, when I was about halfway through and I realized how boring I felt it was, I did take a little pleasure, and I was like, oh, good, if this keeps being boring, I can come back and,
Well, I had to take a break during The Brutalist and watch an episode of Matlock so I could continue.
I had to take a break during everything. I didn't make The Brutalist. Look, I saw I saw a few movies. I haven't seen enough. In fact, I can't even do the podcast with the Oscar podcast this year. I'm going to do part of it because I can't see all the movies.
Well, you know what I saw last night that I really enjoyed? I saw that movie Flow, the animated movie, and it was very good.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an animated movie about a cat.
Oh, I'd like that. So I like cats.
Yes.
Maybe.
A cat and a beaver and a
walk into a bar.
It was a cat,
Nice.
a beaver, a dog, and a lemur and a bird.
Okay.
And they're all on a boat.
See, already it's better than Wicked. You just have more interesting characters.
How dare you?
I liked the Nora, that movie you saw a screening of. That's good.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
I saw A Complete Unknown. That's good.
I couldn't make it through it. I kind of had to drop out in the middle.
That looks boring.
Well,
to
I
me.
would prefer.
I got a little bored.
I wasn't bored by it, but I don't think I would put a Nora, probably The Brutalist. I saw Sing Sing. Sing Sing's a very enjoyable movie.
I'm going to see that
Yeah, I've
tonight.
heard that's really good.
That's good.
Oh,
I'm going to see that tonight when we're done. Because
saw-
remember, we've got to vote
Yeah.
by Friday.
mhm.
Well, I can't see everything. I'm doing my best. I hear Conclave is good, but I haven't seen it.
It was a little snoozy for me, but I saw.
Really?
seems
Okay.
timely right now.
And
I
you
thought it was
couldn't
a
make it
little
through.
snoozy.
And you couldn't make it through a Complete Unknown.
No, I took a
guess I can
complete
see.
nap.
I enjoyed the whole thing.
I have a complete desire to avoid it.
Well, what was boring about it?
The whole thing.
It just looks like a by the numbers biopic.
Yes, and not even a good one.
No, I think Timothy Chalamet does it. He's really good. He also ticks on the music, like he does all the singing. He does really good with that. I like the Pete Seeger character, and I don't know, it's good stuff.
It was no coal
Baez.
miner's daughter.
I've never seen that.
That's a
Well,
fantastic.
it's gonna be a Broadway musical with Sutton Foster.
Oh,
All right, we got to hit on SNL 50 too, because this is the highest rated show in NBC in 5 years since the Golden Globes of
parentheses non-sports.
2020.
I got nothing.
You didn't watch it,
You didn't
Les?
see it.
No, I don't
I
really
didn't.
like Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
I've never really watched it.
The
I've
woman
seen
who
clips.
That makes sense because you didn't
Yeah.
grow up in the States largely. So
Right. So I've seen clips.
the electric went out in the house, so I couldn't see most of it. But I saw like an hour and a half into it, and then I've seen some like YouTube videos. I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
I was looking forward to watching it live. Even though on the West Coast they show it live, so it's early. But I had been out day drinking, and so ended up not getting home. Got home, fell asleep, and then because I fell asleep early, I was wide awake at like 3 a.m. So I watched the entire thing starting at 3 a.m.
Oh, I thought you were having people over.
I put out the feelers and nobody really responded, so I didn't do anything.
Oh, you were going to invite people over to watch SNL?
Yeah.
50. Yeah. I thought it was really cool because I didn't actually think they were going to do all the new sketches. I thought it was going to be mostly clips and things like
They
that.
did a lot of
montages.
clips on the 15th and the 25th, but on the 40th, it was a lot of new material. And apparently Lorne Michaels thought that the 40th was a really well done retrospective, so they wanted to kind of lean into that formula for this. And I thought it was a good joke.
Okay.
Not the funniest thing I've ever seen, but I thought
a good time.
they hit the right balance. Eddie Murphy was having a ball.
Yeah.
They mixed a lot of old but not too old in with newer stuff, newer casts to sort of, cross-pollinating across generations and casts. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the balls of Mulaney in the opening monologue where he said there's only been, he goes, I'm surprised there's only been 2 hosts who have committed murder. Now, first I thought, because I know the history of the show, I thought, oh, it's OJ and Robert Blake.
Mm-hmm.
But
Alec Baldwin in the audience.
Sitting right in the audience.
And Matthew Broderick.
He did what?
And Matthew Broderick.
Matthew.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Google it.
I do. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought. I wasn't thinking of Alec Baldwin when I was watching it. Then the next day I was reading an article and I said, was he talking about Alec Baldwin? And then I came across Matthew Broderick also. But I had heard. I remember when the story happened with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
That's shitty.
Broderick.
That's shitty. You're Matthew Broderick, and you sit home and you hear that. I think it was
he was in
funny
the
with
audience
Alec
there.
Baldwin.
He was in the
was?
studio. Yeah, because he hosted in the
That's
past.
so shitty. See, I didn't think. I like that Alec Baldwin kind of got knocked because they keep bringing him out for like the 5-timers clubs. It's like kind of could they acknowledge this thing at somehow and like they figure out how to do it.
In
But don't throw Matthew
fairness
Broderick under a
to Alec, it wasn't premeditated what he did. Like his was. It was an accident. I don't think Alec Baldwin went into that day thinking, I'm going to shoot this person.
No, well, Matthew Broderick wasn't
Right.
trying to kill anybody either.
Yeah. So neither one is technically murder under that definition.
Right. OJ on the other
not.
hand.
Well, OJ was acquitted, at least until he got to the civil trial. I forget what happened to Robert Blake.
and OJ both acquitted, but both prosecuted civilly.
Okay.
Yes.
And Robert Blake, it may not have been him, right? But he likely hired somebody.
Wasn't he at the... I mean, I used to live around the corner from that restaurant. Like, right around the corner from there. When it happened, I think I was living there.
Anyway.
There was a coffee house. So I used to work at a coffee house in that neighborhood, and Bonnie Lee Blakely would come in every day. I would see her every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then Robert Blake would come in like a few hours later.
Well, anyway, I give props to Mulaney for that joke because that was pretty edgy.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that, man?
You know who I think would like Wicked? Kurt.
I want to be popular. That's kind of a catchy tune.
And she's popular too. Do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Well, I didn't see any recent articles about Blac Chyna, but I did come across a book. This book is called Womanish Theology, Discovering God Through the Lens of Black Girlhood. And it's written by Crystal Lauren Adams. So I'd like to read a little excerpt from this.
What does this have to do with Blac Chyna exactly?
We'll get to it. This is an excerpt. It's on page.
Okay. Wait, what's the name of this again?
Theology, womanish theology, discovering God through the lens of Black girlhood. All right. It's available on Amazon. All right. Now here's an excerpt from the book. I sat with a small group of teenage girls at a youth retreat, and we had a conversation about their views on religion and salvation. I could sense their frustration with the attention Christians give to certain sins. I don't get it, Sona said. It's like sex, like those billboards that say, shackled by lust, Jesus sets you free. That's the billboard I see on the way to school every day, Ariana exclaimed. We don't have those up north, Sharifa stated. But I mean, I get it. It's like when Jesus saves me, he always saves me from anything having to do with sex. Like, what's that celebrity's name? Blac Chyna? She's finally been saved, Sona continued. When she did her salvation, everybody was like, she's finally cured from all the bad stuff she's been doing. And I was like, hold on. She's going through her own thing, and she's talking about how she was saved by Jesus, not that she's doing this for you all. She got all her fillers out. She got baptized. Raya added to Sona's thoughts. Yeah, people are like, she's finally been saved. Like, finally is a big word. She's a daughter of God. So she wasn't a daughter of God before. They say God loves her again. Isn't God's love supposed to be eternal? I think she was Christian before, Ariana responded. She just didn't exemplify it the way people thought she should. She emphasized the word should with air quotes. Angela Renee White, a.k.a. Blac Chyna, was known for her lavish lifestyle and being a sexually liberated woman. In 2023, she revealed that she was giving up that way of living and was on a new spiritual path. The headlines read, Blac Chyna says that finding Christ made her quit OnlyFans. Blac Chyna gets baptized and removes tattoo. And did Blac Chyna receive her salvation? White made visible changes to her appearance, removing tattoos, losing weight, reversing previous plastic surgeries, and shying away from anything sexual. The girls I spoke with, White was saved before, and they resented that anyone would question her salvation based on her lifestyle changes. If she was a believing Christian before, perhaps she was now in the are being saved part of her salvation. Perhaps she was merely exhibiting sanctification in public. It's like when you're saved, you're not doing any of that anymore. So then when they start doing it, does that mean they're not saved? So that was a excerpt from the book.
I don't like this at all. Because I feel like I don't know how, but I feel like this is some sort of form of indoctrinating people into religion. Just the existence of whatever this book is, the talking about.
Sign off on this?
Yeah, I don't think like Blac Chyna's on board with this conversation.
No, she's not. She's just she was used as an example in the book. Well, we're just looking at it, the theological perspective of Blac Chyna.
I think people are coming to our podcast for theology, though.
Right.
Well, that's all I could find.
Well,
I was going either that or I was going to swap it out for a Wendy Williams story.
Ooh.
Yes, because it's save Wendy, save Wendy, save Wendy.
Well, I had to say on brand.
Free Wendy. Yes, because we're trying to. Harvey Levin from TMZ is trying to free Wendy.
Do you want me to start over and you want to delete that or?
No, we can leave it in. That wasn't a judgment on you doing finding a way in to talk about Blac Chyna. I appreciate that. I don't know.
Free Wendy.
Oh, I understand. Well, I just off the top of my head, I have seen Wendy Williams on Inside Edition and Entertainment Tonight, and she's in a facility, like an assisted living place in New York. They won't say the name of it, but you could look around, you could see it. Anyway, she's being interviewed, I believe, by TMZ, and she's standing by the window, and she's talking, but she's not able to get out. And I think they've put her in a memory care unit. Now, based on what I'm hearing, I'm sorry, what were you?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just saying, based on what I'm hearing of her interview, it doesn't sound like she has dementia. And what they were talking about was she did have a form of dementia that was alcohol related. And to my understanding, you can get better. That's like the one form of dementia that you can actually get better from. So it's possible she's dried out and she is doing better, but they still have her in the facility.
That's exactly what happened, because so Harvey Levin from TMZ has started the Free Wendy movement. And so what happened is he interviewed her. He said she sounded fine. So basically what happened, so she's under a conservatorship, like, like Britney Spears was under. She was under a conservatorship. The reason why is because her son, while she was drinking heavily and going through this, her son started abusing her money. Like he rang up like $100,000 worth of Uber Eats, for example. And he tried to like rent a yacht and all this stuff. So the bank got alerted. And so Wendy was given a conservator, but this conservator wasn't a family member. And so it turns out, and Harvey Levin uncovered this, that the reason why they put her in memory care is because she would go to the cafeteria or whatever and get drunk. And so they put her in the memory care as a way to stop her from getting drunk instead of getting her help. And so by them doing that, she stopped drinking and she dried out, like you said, and then she got her faculties back. But they're still treating her like she's...
That's expensive also.
Yeah.
To be in that kind of facility is expensive.
Well, also, we don't... Let's be clear, we are not doctors. We don't know that she fully has her faculties back. We only know what has been reported by Harvey Levin of TMZ, which, while they break a lot of stories, there is a very tabloidy element that they have always capitalized on. So I don't know. I think with these conservatorships, there's definitely like a dark underbelly where there are people that get involved in celebrities' lives and rich people's lives that have no business being involved in it. But I also think there is an element of something got them in that position where they are not completely there. Britney, I think it would be fair to say Britney is still not completely there.
Well, and so to be fair, all they're asking is that instead of having, so the person who is Wendy's conservator is just someone who was hired by the state, who has nothing to do with her, who is not a member of her family. So all they really want, like she has a niece who's responsible, who is more than happy to be her conservator. So all they really want is A, for her to be let out of this facility, and B, have like a responsible family member be her, be her conservator, and since instead of a complete stranger. And the stranger, for example, was the reason why she ended up on that documentary that they did about her early, like last year.
Yeah,
that was not good. That did not look good at all.
Right.
So they at least want someone in their family, which that I agree with that.
I see that broadly in concept, why that's probably a good idea, but there's also people that are in a position of wealth and power where the family doesn't have the person's real best interests at heart. So I don't know.
Well, what they were saying was like her son did not. Her son was only like 23 years old as well. So they don't want her son to have anything to do with her finances, but they do want someone in the family who is responsible. Who's
making these decisions? Is this from management you're talking about?
No, this is like the state. No, the state.
Okay.
The state is the one that gave her this conservator.
This actually makes a difference to me. What state is she in?
New York.
New York, yeah.
Okay.
So they want, so she has a niece who's like, I think in her 30s, who she's like an anchor in, she's a news anchor. And so like, she wants to be responsible for her, and she's like a responsible person.
Mm-hmm. Big responsibility.
Yeah. But then this woman's like, I think she's like in her 30s or 40s. Like she's an adult. She's not like a 23-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. We'll stay on top of this.
Yeah, she definitely needs better support system around her.
Yeah.
That's a hard situation.
Yeah. And I, having I'm dealing with someone with dementia right now, so I get all sides of it.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
yeah, as am I.
So yeah, I get all sides of it. But if it's a complete stranger who's like kind of shirking their responsibility by just kind of locking her up isn't helping things either.
Right.
Well, speaking of locked up, let's talk about our movie.
Yeah, heavy show. We do every once in a while. We do have a heavy episode.
I don't know
Our
this is a
movie's all
heavy
about being
episode.
locked up, though.
I think the top was heavy in that we dealt into like the murders that John Mulaney may or may not have been joking about.
We got the theology of Blac Chyna, then we got into like this conservatorship.
But we also had this movie with an absolutely over the top, absurd premise.
Yeah,
Heavy waste of time of watching Wicked.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not giving another shot either. And I think I like Barbie more than Wicked, but this might be this
that's fair.
This might be this year's Barbie. Because I wasn't crazy about Barbie. Well, I don't think it was like the greatest thing ever.
Get out.
But I also don't necessarily think Barbie may not have been made for me, or neither was Wicked probably. Maybe I wasn't in the audience.
Sure.
You think?
I'd give it a shot though.
So we start out.
Now, this movie was made for me.
The Brutalist.
It's a good
They
movie.
they didn't call it brutal for a reason. Anyway, so we see like this case. It's like an awards case. And like there's magazine articles in there and stuff. And it's burning down.
Yeah. Gold records are on fire.
Yeah.
You see a gun.
No. Yeah. So then we see this duet and they're singing and they're doing like hand moves. I wrote they're doing hand moves.
It's an R&B duo.
Right. And I wrote the song was not that great.
But the voice quality was good though. I thought the singing was good. Just the song was boring.
So by the way, I was watching this movie as I was doing laundry, so I was watching this movie in a laundromat.
Oh, so not in your car. That's why you had the notes in your car, is because you had gone to the laundromat. Got it.
Oh, okay. That's safe.
So, then we see that one of them is like drunk and kind of messing around with some guy.
That was Lenny, right?
Lenny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Lenny is the producer who's much older than these women. And at this point in the movie, these two women, I'm assuming we're supposed to believe they're in like their early 20s, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
At this point, yes.
Yeah. And I guess one of them is supposed to be like the next Beyonce or something.
And the group is called Luscious.
Luscious. Yes.
Yeah.
So the other member of Luscious is pissed. And she goes to her husband and she's like, listen, I'm sick of this. I want to quit. I want to quit now. And the husband's like, well, why don't we just, release the album and then you can quit? And she's like, nope, I'm done. I want to be done now. And she's adamant about it. So,
and
her husband makes a phone call.
Well, she's pregnant too.
Yeah. And so her husband makes a phone call and it's done.
Which they never explain how the husband is able to release the audience for this show. Because I don't think he's in any way related to their career.
Right.
I would at least wait until the show is over, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved this detail because it was so dumb. They're like, they performed their song and then they told the audience not to go anywhere. It was like they were throwing to a commercial break. Like, don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
Right.
Like, normally, if there's like an encore, the artist doesn't tell you, hey, I'm coming back for an encore. They usually make it seem like the show's over until the crowd sort of demands that the artist come back.
Yeah, their biggest hit they haven't done yet.
Right.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this break. What break? What's happening?
Right.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
So everybody starts getting like these texts, or they start getting these texts with the newspaper article or an article on it. And
yeah, they're backstage at the show that has now been canceled, but the people involved don't know until they find out when the press starts writing about it.
Right.
These people write fast.
This
I guess
movie
it's
is
AI
so
writing
dumb.
these articles.
No, this is 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then Nevia, who's the one who was with the older manager, she's looking for the other woman who's Lupita, and they're like, "Oh, Lupita left."
She retired. She literally retired.
Right,
That's
on the
what I'm
spot.
saying. That's what I'm saying. At least finish the show. That way you don't have to refund people and you don't have to go through all that.
So then Nevia goes on stage to try to get the audience anyway, and everybody starts booing her. They're like, "Well, we don't like you. We like Lupita."
It sucks, man. See, this is why you guys should have watched A Complete Unknown, because this is very similar. These two movies are very similar. It's like Dylan plugs in his amps and stuff and starts playing the folk festival.
And people
He goes
booed him.
electric. He goes electric. Yeah, the whole audience goes crazy. That they're the
like-
same scene.
They're like, "An electric guitar. What is this nonsense?"
In fact, I think A Complete Unknown may have ripped off this movie,
I'm sure it did.
which I don't think is right.
And then Lupita, like, she goes back and Nevia goes backstage and Lupita's back there and she's like, "What are you doing? Come on." And Lupita's like, "I'm saving you. We're done." And so the manager is pissed. And he has a son, and his son is hearing impaired because his son's wearing hearing aids. And so he's yelling at the son, and the son like fixes his hearing aid so he can't hear him. So he's just sounding muffled. The guy's sounding muffled.
The way they kept doing that, though, it was almost like reverse Steve Majors from The Bionic Man, or Jamie Summers rather, because he could hear perfectly fine. He's like, "Oh, I'm tuning you out," and like would hit a button and it like made a sound effect for the audience, and then it was just like, "Oh, I'm tuning this out," while he's like picking up this ripped flyer of Luscious and piecing it back together.
Like he just because Lenny just rips it up like he's like, "I'm done."
Yeah. The end of Luscious.
Which moments earlier, Lenny, who's much older, was making out with Nevia.
Oh yeah.
He was totally
And feeding her
fine
drinks.
and like on board with her and who she was. And now that the group is over, he's like, don't need that anymore.
Right.
Move quick here.
Yep.
The media is moving quick. The audience is moving quick. They're turning against people.
And everybody like just started getting Nevia, like everybody backstage was like, "Nevia, we hate you as well." Like everybody just turned on her at once.
She was box office poison.
Yeah.
And she's basically like, "Wait, what did I do? What did I do?"
She's like half of this group. This group that they make it seem like they're pretty famous. Like, even if we were in the height of Destiny's Child and Beyonce decided right here, right now, hey, the group is breaking up, there's still people that were like fans of Kelly Rowland and fans of Michelle Williams.
Well, yeah. They went on to have careers of their own.
Would still be like, why is Beyonce ending this right now? Oh, Michelle, I feel so bad for you.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be kind of rude.
Right, yeah, because and Destiny's Child, Kelly went on to have a career.
Yeah.
Michelle went on to have a career.
Michelle's on Broadway right now.
Yeah. It's not like, "We hate you. Beyonce's gone."
Nah, this woman, man, she's like David Caruso the day after Jade came out.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She's as cold as ice.
So then it goes to 15 years later. And we see like this warehouse apartment, which actually I thought looked very cool.
Super cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the landlord is like, you better pay your rent or I'm kicking you out.
And she tries to give him like a signed 8-track or something like that, or cassette.
Right.
I think it might have been a CD.
Yeah, all right, maybe a CD.
Yeah.
8-track.
And he's like,
I don't think CDs. I have this 8-track of Boston's greatest hits, though. Could you take that? It's worth something.
I love that he was like, why do you have a signed thing of Luscious? Like, he didn't even know that she's in the group and he's her landlord.
Right. And she's, that's me. And then he tells her, no, then she tells him, she's like, okay, so if I don't pay my rent by tomorrow, then you can kick me out. So then she goes to a record executive's office and he's ignoring her. And then she's like, I was in Luscious. And then he like perks up. He's like, oh my gosh, Lupita, are you, he's like ready to sign her. And she's like, no, I'm Nevia. And then he's all, oh, nope. Don't want anything to do with you.
How did he not know who she was before this meeting commenced? They're mid-meeting and this comes up.
His assistant made the meeting.
Like, you only take that meeting because she was in Luscious.
Right. So he's like, nope. And then she gets pissed and she's like, I'm talented. You don't know. You're making a big mistake. And he's like, well, just because you worked with Lupita doesn't make you talented.
You'll rue the day.
And then he calls her a has-been. And then that's when she's like, you'll rue the day. And she starts yelling at everyone. And then later on, she goes viral. Yeah. Someone was recording.
For context for the audience that may not have seen this movie, imagine if the plot of this movie, if Lupita is supposed to be sort of the Beyonce-like character, except Beyonce never continued with music after Destiny's Child ended. She instead went into business, had nothing to do with music. Because that's what the Lupita character didn't have, like, a solo career.
Right.
No, she just left.
So the fact that they're treating it like Lupita is this big global superstar makes no sense because Lupita essentially like runs a business now, unrelated to music.
Right.
Well, maybe it's like Lauryn Hill. Like people would get excited if Lauryn Hill came back.
Well,
but Lauryn Hill recorded that solo album after the Fugees. Lupita didn't do that.
She didn't have a solo album.
No.
And if this was a business meeting with Lauryn Hill, she would not have showed up on time.
No.
Is she late?
Oh, she'd be like 3 hours.
Lauryn Hill makes Madonna look like an early riser.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lauryn Hill will show up 3-4 hours late.
The fact that Lauryn Hill showed up at that SNL music special on Friday night and was there on time blows my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very rare for Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Did she perform?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Maybe I should watch that. People are saying Paul didn't sound great, but isn't he like 80?
Who, McCartney or Simon?
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he's like 80 something.
I thought he sounded all right. Like, he doesn't sound, I don't know.
He's not going to sound like he sounded in 1967. No.
But people are complaining because he's doing that song that, The End of Abbey Road, that stuff. Down, out.
Yeah.
Down, out.
Yep.
Anyway.
It's basically a song about like coming to the end of your road, like the end of your career. Like he's not going to sound like he sounded at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it's fine.
So
I didn't hear Paul Simon.
Okay. So she looks like she's watching herself on TV, and then she looks like she's going to jump out of the warehouse window.
Yeah.
Then she gets a phone call from the guy at the record company, Quentin. And he's like, I'm sorry, let's fix this. Why don't you come in? And so he's like, I can help your career. And then we see someone else is in the room with him. And so
this
then
is never really explained, because that guy and the other guy in the room is Isaac. But did Isaac have like a gun to him or something?
I guess.
I think it's implied,
they never
yeah.
explained it.
Isaac being the son, Lenny's son, from earlier in the movie with the hearing aids and the picking up the ripped up photo.
And the hairstyle.
And the hairstyle.
And the hairstyle that I hope to have on Friday.
And a sweater.
And a black turtleneck. So, she shows up, Nevia shows up, and she sees Isaac there, and she doesn't recognize him. So she's like, where's Quentin? And then she throws shade at him. She's like, I don't want to play for some nobody. And it's like, excuse me, ma'am. You are desperate to get a career going.
Well, he does have a good comeback.
What did he say? I don't remember.
Oh, he says, oh, then go about your busy schedule.
Yeah. In fairness to her, though, after she had been humiliated, where Quentin didn't know who she was, even though he brought her in for the first meeting, then he specifically says, I want to save your career. Come meet with me. And then he's not there. That would feel really shitty if you were her.
I guess it would.
True. But she's in no position.
That's show business,
So she sings a song, and then she should have known that she was in trouble because Isaac gives her a slow clap.
Oh.
And then he's like, he just wanted to see if she still had the goods. And then he tells her that he wants to finish. So the album that they were working on 15 years ago was called Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So he was like, well, I want to finish Phoenix. And Nevia was like, oh, okay. But then he's like, and I want to reunite Luscious. And Nevia's like, hell no. F you. And she's like, that I'm not negotiating. This is never going to happen. And then we have a comeback. Yeah. Chloroform is back.
That's right. One of many comebacks we see in this movie.
Out of nowhere, it escalates from like this guy from her past somehow wants to revive her career. She's like, I'm not on board with this, and he fucking chloroforms her. So dumb.
Right.
So dumb.
Right.
The music industry is still cutthroat.
Right.
We went through this before. Where do you get chloroform? Can you buy it at you have CVS out there?
We have CVS,
or we have CVS.
Yeah, is that where you get it? Do they have chloroform?
Or the dark web.
I don't think they have chloroform.
The dark web? No.
Yeah, I don't think they have chloroform at CVS. Maybe Walgreens.
I'm saying this out loud on the podcast, so there is a record that because of this podcast, that is the reason why I am now Googling the phrase where to buy chloroform.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
I'm looking.
All right, because we could have a pharmacist. Are there any funny pharmacists?
Google. Google.
Oh, it's saying CVS.
What? Are you serious?
Well, I mean, like, it comes up in the places to buy it. CVS and Walgreens come up, but like, I should ask actually ChatGPT, but I'm afraid to ask it.
It'll write you a novel about it. Isn't this a great service for our audience? Now you know where to get chloroform.
Right.
Just for all you maniacs out there listening.
Right. Let's get a black hoodie. You're
We
good to
see
go.
you. Good Lord. Anyway.
Now I'm curious.
We don't advise you to
chloroform is
chloroform
actually
anybody.
added to our drinking water to kill certain byproducts, to kill some bacteria.
So you could just soak a sock in just regular water and chloroform someone.
No, you don't. Well, yeah, maybe if you have enough, but it's probably not like it's watered down literally at that point.
Oh.
There's also like in California drinking water, there's also like antidepressants and stuff.
Yeah. So, because I don't use my home computer a ton, or at least this browser, I don't often like close the old windows, and so one of my other browser windows that's open is from a few podcasts ago when we were talking about Doris Roberts. I have a search box open for Doris Roberts right now.
Yeah, because we're talking about show The Head. And you said Doris Roberts' head. Yeah.
I love it. The Doris Roberts and Chloroform.
Yeah.
I remember back when she was the Glade lady.
They're trending. All right. Back to
That's
work.
how she bought her house. Because she was the spokesperson for Glade.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I do the same thing.
So,
Glade,
not only chloroformed her,
should
then
come
he put
out with chloroform scented Glade.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's like furniture polishing. You just spray it at someone's face. It's great.
So then he puts a pillowcase over her head.
In a movie, they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then she wakes up and he takes the pillowcase off of her head and she looks around and she's like in a recording studio. Mm-hmm. But it's a recording studio that is surrounded by glass and it's like a recording studio prison.
This is like the OA. Do you remember that show?
I know of it. I never watched it.
No, you guys never saw it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that.
Well, like
it reminds me of something.
I was going to say, go ahead, Les.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, having spent a lot of my adult life in like radio studios, you wouldn't normally have that much glass, that much like flat reflective wall in a space where you're trying to have sound not bounce all over the place.
Oh, because I mean, because to me it reminded me of like on soap operas when like you'd have like a twin take over another twin's life and then they'd lock them in like a glass case like that and then go and like live their life. Yeah. So does glass affect the recording?
Absolutely. I mean, think about anytime you've done any voiceover or anything, like you might have like one glass wall so you could see to like the recording engineer. But if you've got glass all around you, that sound is just bouncing off those walls. And that's where you get that kind of echoey sound.
It was so crazy. The last time I did voiceover work was like during lockdown. And so literally, and it was like during like lockdown. Mm-hmm. So I had to go in a recording studio and the people who hired me were in another studio on the other side of town and I had to talk to them on a laptop. Mm-hmm. It was very Charlie's Angels.
But they do that a lot now too because the technology is good enough where you don't need to be in the same city anymore.
Yeah,
you could have a studio at home.
Okay, so we see someone else with a pillowcase on their head too. Mm-hmm. And so Nevia runs over and she lifts up the pillowcase and it's Lupita.
Now, I have to admit, when I saw someone with a bag on their head, I did assume it was Murray Langston.
Really?
No.
But it was
what I'm talking about, Jason?
We've referenced this on this podcast before. Is that the Unknown Comic?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is a comic known in the 70s on variety shows and whatnot that would have a paper bag on his head.
On the Gong Show.
Didn't it remind you more of, didn't it look like, remember the Elephant Man had like a pillowcase on his head?
Oh, that's good too.
And he had like one eye like cut out so you could see.
Yeah, could be that.
I'm not an animal. I like that movie.
What's more relevant, Murray Langston or the Elephant Man? Well, actually, what's the Elephant Man's name? I can't remember. Was it?
I don't know. I just remember the movie was in black and white.
Anyway, it makes no difference. So they're in the room.
Right. Nevia is like, she's pissed because she's like, it's Lupita, and she's all, you bitch. And then we look around, and the post, there's a Luscious poster on the wall. And then, yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. So then they're like, how we're going to get out of here. And then Nevia looks at Lupita and she's like, because of you, no one will hire me. And then she said, I want you to go back 15 years and I want to duct tape your mouth shut. Then we hear an old Luscious song playing in the room. And then a man walks in with a gun, and we realize that it's Isaac, who was the guy 15 years ago who had the hearing aids.
And you realize that also that the Luscious flyer you saw is the one that he pieced together that night that got ripped up.
Yeah.
And the first thing he says is like, hearing aids have come a long way. And he points to like the little tiny ones in his ears. Mm-hmm. And he's like, listen, I need 3 songs and then you can go. And I'll even give you the masters.
This is so fucking stupid. He's saying that it's been 15 years. It's going to be 15 years and 3 days for the anniversary date of the album they never released. So he's celebrating a milestone of something that didn't actually happen.
Right.
And wants to complete that album to mark the anniversary of something that didn't happen, of a group of which one of them is wildly popular, but the other is so unpopular that nobody recognizes her when they see her.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I thought he gave a good pitch.
And then, now, Jason, you were involved with the music industry, right?
Yeah.
So having masters that's very important, right?
Well, you want to own them for sure, especially if it's a group that people care about. What was wild about this is that nobody really seemed to have a lot of affection for this group. In fact, we even find out later that the group Luscious doesn't even have like an official social media presence of any sort.
No. And then this is where I wrote, I really like this guy's haircut. And then I started taking pictures of the screen. And then Lupita says, I swore off music. And she's like, I swore off music. And it's like, listen, you dummy, this guy has you locked in a room and he's got a gun on you. I think you better kind of, change your mind a little bit.
Yeah, she had a lot of lines in the sand that she was drawing, which you're really no place to be doing that.
Right.
No.
So then her family calls. This is where her family calls, right?
Yeah, her husband, Marcel.
Yeah, Marcel calls. And she gets him off the phone. And then and then this is the part right where Isaac shows us the reason why he's wearing a turtleneck, because he has like a big scar around his neck.
Oh yeah.
What was that from?
Shock collars.
Yeah.
His
dad would make him wear a shock collar.
Oh God.
Like, what they put on like dogs when they
it's extreme.
They bark too much.
Yeah. So then they have we realize that they have shock collars on too, Nevia and Lupita.
Didn't he make them put them on? I feel like we saw Lupita putting hers on.
I hate to ask, but where do they sell shock collars? Now, are they made
for dogs?
Dogs?
They sell for dogs, but they're not, as I understand it, they're not that cruel where they're going to burn your neck like it seemed to have done to Isaac. And you can't just continue the zapping. It's like a quick as opposed to zzz.
Yeah. I guess he made them put their shock collars on.
Yeah.
And so while she has the shock collar on, she decides to get sassy and she's all, I'm not going to sing. And then he's all, and he shocks them.
Shocks her back to reality. Hello, CVS. Yes, I'm looking for shock collars and some chloroform.
You'd probably get a Petco for the
those,
shock collar.
well, those are in aisle 3, but you will need to have a clerk come open up the case for you.
Right.
Found a lot of people
So then-
abusing the chloroform. Always somebody in a black
Right.
hoodie too.
Yeah, we got some hoodies too in aisle 3.
Right. Oh, so then she has like a guitar, right? And so then she does something to her guitar, and she makes his hearing aids go crazy.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
don't you
she
smash
like
one?
did like major reverb on the guitar. She told Nev to put her headphones on so she wouldn't hear this.
So then like they actually escape. And so they're running and they're running. They make it outside, and then Lupita goes to hop the fence and she gets electrocuted.
So maybe this was
fence.
So maybe this is like a dog shelter or something like that, because he's got electric fence. He's got the shock collars. I mean, it's a pretty brutal situation.
And frankly, again, having worked in radio, which is, a similar kind of environment, you don't want all the electrical interference when you're trying to record stuff. You're just going to get feedback and like weird noises on the recording.
So then he catches up with them, and then he has them like chained up. And he tells them, shackle your feet. And Lupita's like, you just told a black woman to shackle her feet. But he was black too.
Yeah.
Everybody in this scene is black. So she's like, you just told a black woman to shackle your feet. And he just kind of looked at her like, and shackle your feet.
I feel like somebody gave the note at some point. They're like, hey, this is kind of fucked up. We need to at least acknowledge that we know how fucked up it is.
Yes.
And then somebody was too shy to say, did you notice that all this is fucked up?
Yeah. So then he tells them, listen, you have 5 hours to come up with a hit song.
Because that's how creativity works.
Yeah.
Hey, it works.
Through death threats.
I kind of like some of the stuff.
Threats of shock collars.
Yeah. And then Nevia looks at you, Lupita, and she's all, you know what? You abandoned me. And you had something else to look forward to, and I had nothing, and you destroyed my life.
Who are some groups that split up that they could throw into like a prison like that, make them start working again? Like
En Vogue.
Simon and Garfunkel, the Jerky Boys. Lock them up in there, make some calls.
I mean, I would assume Oasis. They're going on tour this year, but they'll end up fighting and break up again, I'm sure.
Okay, you could put them in
there.
there.
So funny. Because Oasis, so in Edinburgh, Oasis is going to be performing in Edinburgh during the Edinburgh Fringe, and everybody at the Edinburgh Fringe is like freaking out because they're like, Oasis is not only going to take their audiences, but it's making housing even that more expensive. And then someone though made a joke. He's like, well, they're going to be on tour, so they probably won't even make it that long.
They'll cancel, which means the people that bought tickets to their show are going to be looking for things to do. You might sell out.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody's worried most about housing, because I guess housing to do Edinburgh Fringe, like housing is like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the way it's been for a long time.
Like someone was telling me like $10,000 for like 6 weeks or something insane.
6 weeks. Wow.
So
yeah,
it's a month and a half. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lupita was like, I was trying to protect you. And then Nevia tells her, well, you know what? I finally got sober. And then they're handcuffed together and they come to like a detente. And so they start playing the piano, and then they can only play the piano together because they're handcuffed. So it's like teamwork.
So
Okay.
fucking dumb.
Oh, that's a good device.
If they're gonna be handcuffed, they should have both their hands together. They're putting them two together like a wacky like comedy from the 80s. No. So dumb.
Like
But they work together.
Also, again, thinking of sound interference, if you want them to record a song, it's going to make a lot of fucking noise if people are wearing handcuffs and shackles while they're trying to record their music.
Oh, that's true. It's kind of like, did you guys ever see that documentary about We Are the World, and Cyndi Lauper had too many bracelets on, and it was like making a lot of noise.
It bugs anytime I watch a talk show and there's an actor or an actress that has like dangly jewelry on. I'm like, how did the sound guy that put the little lav mic on them not notice that this is going to be a problem?
Right.
But we had somebody on our show who was like, we could hear like I guess it was the wire of her like headset.
Yeah.
Like
oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. Happened on the SNL 50 at the beginning of Bronx Beat. There was this like loud noise, and it's because Maya Rudolph's wig was down. Everyone was like mic'd up that night, I guess, because there were so many people, and her wig kept hitting the mic, and she didn't realize it right away. So you could see in the shot, like you could see boom mic shadows because they were like moving in the boom mics to kind of cover up for her mic. And then finally somebody must have gotten her attention because you could kind of see her look out and realize, and she slowly moved her hair out of the way, and it was fine.
Yeah, and since you brought that up, you guys are probably going to be mad at me for this, but I'm just going to say it. A little of Maya Rudolph goes a long way.
Go.
Podcast
right is over. Go the fuck home, Kurt. Oh, you are
Get
home.
out of here right now, Kurt.
This gets to be a little too much.
Get out.
Yeah, get out. Get out. Get out.
How dare you?
It gets to be a little too much there.
You don't watch Loot? I love Loot.
All right.
Yeah,
how dare you?
Like, this is not opinion. You are dead wrong about that, Kurt.
No cake for you.
Oh, I think she's good. I just think it's a little too much sometimes. And I even with what I saw at SNL 50, like look at she was in like a lot of stuff. It's like, ease back a little bit.
Good.
Because she's an all-star, but also she wasn't in that much. Anna Gasteyer did a bunch over the weekend.
There's another one. She's making the rounds so much. She's got like some Instagram thing that's showing up. She was on Andy Cohen. She was on Howard Stern. Mm-hmm. She's like the face of SNL. This Anna Gasteyer.
Good for so some of them haven't worked in a while, and they're taking this opportunity to be like, hey, people want to talk to me right now, so I'm gonna take that opportunity and talk to them.
See, Nevia should have done that.
Yeah,
oh, that's good. No, I know Maya Rudolph's very talented. It's just
how dare you?
I just saw Anna in Once Upon a Mattress with Sutton Foster and Michael Urie.
Who?
Anna Gasteyer was in it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Little goes a long way.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't have to be in everything.
She's not.
Anyway.
She was in like two things on the special.
Well, the two that I saw, I guess she was there. I was like, okay, enough.
Anyway.
Make room for Mary Gross or somebody.
Oh, was Mary Gross on it?
No. She's probably in the audience.
Anyway.
They were selective who they had.
It leaned heavily on like early 2000s onward people.
I did see the one Saturday Night Live skit years ago where Mary Gross was Alfalfa from The Little Rascals.
Oh, that's a great running bit that night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so as they're singing their song, they have a flashback when Nevia was she was ODing on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
They looked great though as she was she looked great as she was ODing though.
It was a Nevia is a drunk montage.
Yes. And so then Lupita comes and she's in like her Whitney Houston I Want to Dance with Somebody wig.
Mm-hmm.
And she's giving Nevia CPR.
You know, as they were doing this, as I was watching this on Philo, which was on Lifetime, they had an ad for their National Margarita Day while she was having an attack from her alcohol abuse.
That's a movie. It's on tonight.
Okay.
So, Isaac was happy with the results. But back at Lupita's house, her husband is worried. And then her daughter comes down and says, Mom's online. Her song is like moving up the charts. And she's like, and it's from the Luscious website. And her dad's like, Luscious doesn't have a website. And she's like, well, yeah, they do. And she shows him.
I love how he kept insisting to her they don't have an official account, and she's like, I'm literally listening to on the official. Like why would the kid lie about that?
And then they get timely because then he goes, "Is it AI? It's probably AI."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So then he's like, "I'm calling Roxanne," and she's like, the daughter Simone's like, "I am not a baby. I don't need a babysitter," and he's like, "I'm calling her anyway."
When we see Roxanne, they look like they're about the same age.
And Roxanne turned out to be my favorite character in this movie.
Roxanne.
So then Marcel calls Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
And then
who immediately knows, oh, it's my son. He's the one that did this.
Right. And I know where they are.
Lenny's not looking too good either.
No.
He's on his last leg.
So then Lupita was like, I was so stressed out. It was hard being famous. It was hard being a star. And you were a junky mess on top of it. So then Isaac brings in the laptop and he's like, we're a hit. We're trending. We're on the charts. And then he gives them the key to unlock themselves.
Is this where Isaac tells them that he's actually the one that found Luscious's original audition tape and like gave it to Lenny and made Lenny listen to it? So like Isaac's basically saying, I'm the reason you guys were discovered at all.
Right.
Okay.
And then this next part I found problematic because Marcel's talking to Lenny and he's like, well, she's making music and she promised me that she would never make music again. And I was like, that's a problem.
Oh, okay. So he was influential in this.
I'd be like, that's called a divorce. Seriously. So then we mentioned that Lenny is like, yeah, this is my son that's doing this. So then Isaac and Nevia are like having kind of like a one-on-one. Like Isaac has a crush on Nevia.
Well, Isaac gets her to fall off the wagon, which is super fucked up.
Yeah, that's rude.
Yes. And then for me, because I have been on the wagon for, 15 years.
Congrats.
Like this movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, Isaac, you're stupid. You're gonna give her booze and then you expect work out of her after you get her boozing up. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you got a productive version of her. That's what you wanted and needed.
Right.
Yeah, it was a wasting time.
I'm like, don't give her booze. She's not gonna get anything done. But I guess he only let her have a glass or something.
He would have let her have all she wanted. Made no sense.
Right. So then Nevia was like she's asking Isaac, well, are you going to let us go? And then he didn't answer her. So then Lenny is not only like, it's my son. Lenny's like, I know it's not only my son. I know exactly where he is. He's at my old property. So he takes Marcel there.
Did Lenny
And then
ever
meanwhile-
own up to Marcel as to why Lenny would do this? Or why Isaac would do this? Because Lenny was full on abusing his kid.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
He was remorseful though.
Was he?
Yeah, because he was like, it's my fault.
Well, when there was a gun to his head, I think he was. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So then Isaac is taking this time to make the moves on Nevia.
And she's
turning
kind of
this into
fallen
a-
for it because, she's vulnerable and feeling like people actually like her music again.
Right. And she's like, this could get her back. This could get her back on the charts. She could make a comeback.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So then Lenny and Marcel ring the doorbell. And so then Marcel comes in and
Well, Isaac just
And
lets
they-
him in. He's like, oh, yeah, come on. No resistance, no trying to hide anything, just welcomes them in open arms.
Yeah.
so then they're walking down the hall and then they bump into Nevia in the hall and he's like, Marcel's like, where's my wife? And Nevia's like, oh, she's fine. She's okay. But then he goes to the studio and that's where they find Lupita all chained up.
Yeah.
And then he goes to unlock her, but then Isaac puts a gun on Lenny. And then he turns down his hearing aids and then he turns the music up. So everyone's like, oh my God, my ears, my ears, my ears. And then he hits Marcel with a guitar. And then Nevia's outside of it. So she could have run away.
Right.
But she's beating on the glass going, let him out, let him out, let him out. And then Lenny looks at Nevia and apologizes. And then Isaac looks at Nevia and says, okay, so, he treated you like crap 15 years ago. So it's up to you. You decide whether or not I'll let him go. It's up to you. But she took a little too long making a decision.
Yeah.
So he made the decision for her and just stabbed him in the heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think in the heart.
Was it? I thought it was in the chest.
Because it didn't kill him.
chest, yeah.
It didn't kill him.
So
I thought he did die.
I mean, they show him crumpled, they drag him off and chain him up somewhere. So I think he's still alive.
Oh, is he? Oh, he doesn't move again though.
I don't think we ever find out for sure whether or not he lived or died, but I think at this point we're supposed to believe that he's not necessarily dead.
because Nevia put a jacket on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, good. I thought he was dead.
Because this recording studio with the electric fence and the glass windows and the shot collars also seems to have cells to chain people up
Yeah.
in.
yeah.
I'm just curious what this building used to be. That's why I think maybe it was like a pet shelter.
or just maybe someone with a really creative architectural degree is I want to try something here, guys.
Yeah.
I know
It's
we're
like
putting
brutalist.
this glass studio
Oh, yeah, that's
right
right.
in the middle, that's the centerpiece. I get it, but hear me out. Places to chain people up. What do you think?
No, that was the concept of the movie The Brutalist. Basically,
Well, this movie has a lot in common with the Oscar movies this year.
Yeah, same thing.
so then we cut to back at Lupita and Marcel's house, and Simone and the babysitter comes over, and the babysitter's going through the fridge going, you got any bean dip? And I wrote, I like her. Because she was very just yeah, whatever. And she didn't look like she was the same age as the daughter. She's supposed to be in
Right.
college.
Well, the daughter's supposed to be, 14, 15 now?
Yeah. So, so then Simone was like, well, I don't know where my dad is. And then Roxanne, the babysitter's like, oh, your dad went to go see Lenny Jackson. That's what he told me. So then Isaac, meanwhile, had chained Marcel up, and okay, I think I'm out of
This.
what else happened?
I know what happens here. This makes no sense to me either. So Nev decides that she's gonna try and seduce Lenny or seduce Isaac to get the keys. So like she has another glass of wine with him. Somehow he passes out from the wine, not her, who hasn't had a drink in many years. He passes out from the wine. She gets the keys. She goes. She gets Lupita unlocked. She gets Marcel unlocked. But then, and Marcel's like, yeah, we should just like go stab him because we know there's a knife there. There's also a gun there. But instead, Nev's like, actually, no, I've got another plan. So then they lock Marcel back up and they lock Lupita back up and she goes back out for more.
And they're
confounds the mind.
pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
Pussyfooting around because he's asleep. So they're like tiptoeing around him.
Like there's 3 of them and one of him, they could have gotten the knife and the gun and overpowered him easily.
And while he was sleeping, hit him over the head with the bottle because there was an empty bottle on the table too.
And like giant symbols, all kinds of shit you could have hit him with.
Yeah. So instead, they're like, well, why don't we fix our song and put Morse code in it?
Yeah.
And
a creative exercise. And then they reverse
instead
something.
of just escaping, which was readily available to us, let's write a really, really complicated song and help people understand that there's a coded message inside of it.
yes.
I like the creative challenge.
And then they were like ...
And they're like, just saying SOS in Morse code isn't enough. We need to also put the address of this place in the song backwards so people will eventually figure that out.
Right.
But even the words kind of indicated what was going on. It wasn't like we're trapped.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Oh yeah, what was it? It was Angel. The song was called Angel Shot, which women will know is that thing that you order at a bar when a guy's like being creepy with you and you want to kind of let the bartender know, I think I might be in danger. You order the Angel Shot. So it's a cry for help, literally.
Right.
And that's the name of the song.
Right.
And this part of it is just in reverse. And this guy, Isaac, he doesn't. Like, I think they tell him it was in Spanish or something like that?
They said something like that.
They were half a step away from calling the song "Help! I've been abducted." No, seriously, help.
His name is Isaac.
Yeah.
Parentheses.
So then, and she's like, my daughter. Lupita's like, Simone's gonna figure this out. And so,
But anybody else?
So then,
also like. If Simone is so fucking smart, then why did you need to leave her with a dumbass babysitter?
Right. Well, hey, the babysitter's the one that ended up saving the day.
Well, partially.
The babysitter's the one that knew about the Angel Shot.
Yeah.
So Simone is online and she tells the babysitter, hey, the song is trending. And Simone starts to crack the case. And
the babysitter, she also knows Morse code.
Yes. So they're singing, and the babysitter starts like writing it out. Babysitter's like, "Oh, this is what she's saying," but then Simone gets on. Okay, Simone, I was on her side, but then she gets on TikTok.
Yeah,
and she's on TikTok saying, my mom has been kidnapped. She's done a song. It's in Morse code. And then Isaac is watching TikTok.
Not
so
just on TikTok. She's like putting the call out to fans of Luscious. Like, hey, anybody that might be paying attention to this, pay attention to this more.
And this was 15 years ago, so fans of Luscious probably wouldn't even be on TikTok.
No. They're like, we're on MySpace. What are you doing?
Right.
Oh, it could be resurgence.
So then Isaac sees it on TikTok. So he then goes to Nevia, and they're all like chained up at that point. And he's like, well, Nevia, it's their fault that you can't get any work. And so he plays a recording because earlier in the movie, Lupita told Marcel that she felt bad. She felt guilty about canceling Nevia. And he's like, so that's the reason why you couldn't get work, is because they spread the word not to hire you. And then Lupita was like, well, I just did it to save you.
That also doesn't make any sense. Like, I could see Lupita having an opinion and even smack talking her, and some people in the industry listening to her, but there would have been some people that would have been able to help Nevia capitalize on whatever craziness was going on in her life. Like,
right.
If you're a reality show producer, you put that shit on camera.
Right.
Oh, yeah, she gets something out of it.
Or she could have gone to Celebrity Rehab.
Yeah.
Remember that show?
Yeah.
Celebrity Rehab?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Roberts was on that for weed.
Oh, yeah.
He just needed the money, though, right?
Yeah. So did everyone.
Yeah, he wanted the gig.
So Isaac at this point, so Nevia gets pissed for a minute, and so then Isaac, he gives her a coat, and he has this little tape recorder, and he has like an old recording of them. And so he
It's
gives
what do you call it? iPad or iPod?
like a little.
It was like a little Zune. It was a Microsoft Zune.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Zune was like Microsoft's answer to the iPod, but it was like a notorious flop.
Yeah.
So he gives her a coat, and he's like, you can go. And here's this. So Nevia's walking out, and this is when she sees Lenny on the ground, and she puts her coat over. And then we find out that Lenny, there's a flashback, and we find out that Lenny wanted Lupita, but he didn't want Nevia, and Lupita said, I will only take this deal if you hire my friend as well. And then he's like, and I'm going to only pay, he's like, I'm going to pay you as one person. So you're going to have to split your salary with her. And she's like, fine. I just don't want my friend to be left out. So then we see that Isaac is going to burn Lupita and Marcel in his studio.
Yeah, I will say kudos Lifetime, because there's generally some element of gaslighting in every Lifetime movie. This one had literal gaslighting.
Yes.
He's just
it's true.
pouring gas all around the outside of this glass studio to light it on fire.
And then he does a move that we have not seen in a very long time, where he lights the lighter, and then in slow motion, he drops it on the ground.
Yeah.
And everything lights up. So then Nevia goes and she shuts the power off.
So Lenny does die then in this fire.
Oh, that's true.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't actually know. Because the authorities do eventually show up. I'm jumping ahead, but he may have gotten out.
Okay.
So then Marcel and Isaac start fighting. And I liked when Isaac hit him on the head, hit Marcel with the cymbal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was symboled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So then they're
Symbolism.
Fighting, and then Nevia comes in and she does the Lifetime thing of she comes in from behind and hits Isaac on the head and knocks him out. And then while he was knocked out, they put the shock collar on. And so as they're leaving, they turn the shock collar on, and he's writhing around. And then the room catches on fire. But then they leave, and then Nevia realizes that she forgot her, what was it called, the Zune?
Yeah.
That she forgot the Zune
I think it was a Zune.
back in the studio. And it had like the recordings of like
their old stuff. Their old music.
Yeah. So she goes back in to get it, and Marcel and Lupita are like, wait, where are you going, you idiot? And so they go in after her. And then Lupita inhales a lot of smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then they drag her out, and then Nev.
Well, doesn't like Nev sing to her to like sort of bring her out of it?
Yes, because she's giving her CPR like back in the day when Lupita was giving her CPR, and she starts singing to her. Yeah,
she has a healing voice.
This is so fucking stupid.
So she's like, oh, and then Lupita wakes
There
up.
were words. There were lyrics. And then a music video seems to start.
Yes, because I wrote that too.
Yeah.
I wrote that too. They're leaving and the police are coming, and then the music video starts.
For their SOS song that they wrote.
Yeah.
For us, I wonder if ABBA were they kidnapped when they did? Was that SOS song supposed to be? They were
Maybe
letting us know what was going on.
Maybe.
Are they still kidnapped? We haven't seen those people in a long time.
No, they recorded a new album like a year or two ago.
Who, ABBA? No, I went to the ABBA. I went to the ABBA museum and the 3D ABBA show over Christmas.
But ABBA didn't perform in the ABBA show. It was holograms from younger selves, right?
Yeah.
But they did record a new album a few years ago.
Yeah, they recorded a new album. Yeah, they're fine. No, they're fine.
Unpopular opinion, it was boring as fuck.
See, everybody has an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Hey, I still think I'm going to take less heat for that than Kurt talking smack about Maya Rudolph. What the fuck, dude?
Exactly. And Wicked.
Well, I stand by Wicked. I say,
how dare you?
Maya Rudolph is talented, but sometimes it's just a little, it's she doesn't have to be in everything.
She wasn't. She literally wasn't.
In everything.
Okay, good. It just seemed like she was.
And Loot is a genuinely funny
I don't know what
show.
Loot is. What is Loot?
Just show on Apple TV. It's mid. I love her, and I actually love pretty much everyone in the cast. Season 1, I liked. Season 2, I couldn't make it through.
Well, she's coming back for season 3.
Okay.
Kurt. Can't believe it. Not
Even Martin Short. Martin Short's got to simmer down a little bit. And they had a show together.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Martin Short and Marty and Maya, or Maya and Marty. Are you trying to get canceled, Kurt?
No, never mind.
He really is. Your gay icon status is going away quick.
Yeah.
I tell you that.
Because of Wicked?
Terrible things about Wicked, terrible things about Maya Rudolph.
I didn't say
Kristen Chenoweth. And Kristen.
I didn't say anything bad about Kristen Chenoweth.
And Saint Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, in fairness, he didn't say anything about Kristen Chenoweth, just about plenty of other people we love.
And I didn't say anything bad about Maya Rudolph. I just said sometimes it's like, okay, it's enough,
No.
You had your part.
You're wrong.
It. I'm not going to keep repeating it.
You're wrong. You're dead wrong.
You better watch out, Kurt. A house is going to fall on you.
Enough is enough. And they get so excited. She comes on like Weekend Update. Yeah! I was like, come on. It's simmer down.
If you want to get in touch with me.
Wait, are we done? Oh, yeah, that is the end.
Yeah, that was it. We were, I just had like a little recording issue there at the very end of the show.
Oh, jeez.
First of all, if you're angry about what Kurt Fitzpatrick said, you can @ Kurt Fitzpatrick. But if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on Instagram @ Kirkendall. I'm currently building a new website, so that is under construction. So I will let you know about that. And if you are in Palm Springs on March 22nd, I will be doing my show, The Real Black Swan, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen, as part of the Brothers in the Desert Summit. And my show is going to be at the Revolution Theater, and you can find more on that at brothersofthedesert.org. Jason.
Before you direct your vitriol towards Kurt, I want to make sure, I don't think that's actually his handle. So we'll get to that.
I don't have a handle.
But if you will find all of us on, well, actually, first of all, rate and review the podcast. Subscribe to our podcast. It helps more people find us. Give us 5 stars. And we love the love. We want more people to find the show so we can keep doing it. If you want to find all of us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, we are Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. On TikTok at Lifetime of Hallmark Pod, and on Blue Sky at Lifetime of Hallmark. You find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
I don't know. As soon as we go off the air, all these guys do are talk shit about Taylor Swift, and I
that is not true, bitch. Not true. I have handwritten thank you notes from her. I am Taylor Ride or Die.
They did not.
I'm a
say
Swiftie.
That. Okay. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero.
And I think her boyfriend's hot. So there you go.
Kelsey Grammer. I will be on the Jason DeBray Shelf Shedding movie podcast, but it's going to be abbreviated, and we're not going to do all the Oscar movies, but I'll at least be doing some. So look forward to that. That's going to be posted in the next couple of weeks. I'll be saying very positive things about a lot of movies. I just didn't like Wicked.
No one mourns the wicked. And that's about it. So I will talk to you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.